Have you ever heard that people with diabetes can never eat sweets,
The kind you tell
or that
yourself
fruits
is
are
nothing
enemies of
serious
blood sugar
or will
control?
pass on its own.
And
That
what
was me
about
exactly
alcohol?
30 days
Is it
ago.
completely
And
forbidden?
what I'm about to share with you in this
Well,
video
there are
titled,
many
I
myths and
ignored my
lies
leg
about
pain for
diabetes
30
and
days.
pre-diabetes
And look what
that
happened to
confuse
me
people
will
and
absolutely
even hinder their
shock you by the
treatment.
end.
That's
Let me take
why,
you back
in
to where
today's
it all
video,
started.
I'm going to
It
reveal
was
the
just
10
an
biggest
ordinary
myths about
Tuesday morning.
diabetes,
I
and
got
I'm
out of
sure
bed,
some of them will
took my
surprise you.
first step, and felt
If
that
this is your
familiar
first time
twinge
here,
shoot up from
welcome
my
to
calf all
Breaking
the way to my
Diabetes.
thigh. Nothing unbearable, just uncomfortable enough to make me wince. Like thousands of times before, I brushed it off. I'm just getting older, I told myself. Everyone has aches and pains, but this time was different. This time, ignoring that pain nearly cost me everything. You see, what I didn't know then, or what most people don't realize, is that leg pain isn't just inconvenient. It can be the first warning signal of something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. Something that affects millions of people worldwide and is becoming more common every single day. As I stand here today, I'm genuinely grateful to be able to share this story with you. Because just 2 weeks ago, doctors weren't sure if I'd ever walk normally again. The scariest part, everything seemed so innocent at first. Just a dull ache, a slight burning sensation, a little numbness in my toes after sitting too long. All easy to dismiss in our busy lives. But what if I told you that these seemingly minor symptoms were actually critical warning signals? Signals that something was seriously wrong with my body's intricate systems? I'm sharing my 30-day journey from denial to discovery, because what happened to me could be happening to you right now. And trust me, you don't want to learn this lesson the hard way like I did. If you've been experiencing any discomfort in your legs, even mild, occasional pain, I need you to pay close attention to what I'm about to share. It might just save your life, as it ultimately saved mine. Leave a comment below with warning received if you or someone you love has been experiencing leg pain. Let me know I'm not alone in this fight, and that this message is reaching those who need it most. The first warning signs I ignored. Day 1 of my 30-day journey began with what I thought was just ordinary soreness. I'd been on my feet more than usual the day before, so experiencing some discomfort seemed perfectly normal. The pain was concentrated mostly in my calves, dull, throbbing sensation that was annoying but not alarming. By day 3, I noticed something strange. The pain wasn't going away with rest like normal muscle soreness should. In fact, it seemed to get worse in the evenings, especially after dinner. My legs felt heavy, as if I were walking through water. But still, I chalked it up to fatigue and popped a couple of over-the-counter pain relievers. Here's where I made my first critical mistake, treating the symptom rather than questioning the cause. By day 7, a new symptom emerged. The pain had developed a burning quality, particularly along the sides of my calves and the bottoms of my feet. It felt like someone was holding a heat lamp against my skin from the inside. At night, the sheets touching my legs sometimes became unbearable. Looking back, this should have been my wake-up call. Burning pain is never normal. It's your nerves screaming for help. But I didn't listen. Instead, I did what millions of people do every day. I searched online for quick remedies. I started stretching more. I elevated my legs. I applied topical creams. I even invested in compression socks. Some provided temporary relief, which only reinforced my belief that this was just a minor issue. What I didn't realize was that I was merely masking increasingly urgent warning signals while the underlying problem continued to worsen. By day 14, the halfway point of my 30-day ordeal, the pain had evolved. It was now accompanied by intermittent numbness and tingling, particularly in my toes and the balls of my feet. Sometimes my feet would feel ice cold, despite being warm to the touch. Other times, they'd feel like they were on fire. I started to notice small changes in my walking pattern, too. I was unconsciously favoring my right leg, putting more weight on it to spare my increasingly painful left leg. My wife pointed out that I had developed a subtle limp, but still, I pushed through. I had deadlines to meet, family responsibilities, bills to pay. I told myself I didn't have time to be sick. The irony of that thought still haunts me today, because eventually my body would demand the time I wasn't willing to give it, and then some. The turning point. Day 21 brought the first truly frightening moment. I was climbing the stairs to our bedroom, something I'd done thousands of times before, when suddenly my left leg simply gave out. There was no strength, no control. I grabbed the railing just in time to prevent a nasty fall. For a few terrifying seconds, I couldn't feel my leg at all. It was as if the connection between my brain and limb had been temporarily severed. When sensation returned, it came as an explosion of pins and needles so intense that I had to sit down right there on the stairs. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not just because of the pain, which had become a constant companion, but because for the first time, I was truly scared. Something was seriously wrong, and I could no longer pretend otherwise. The next morning brought another disturbing discovery. While getting dressed, I noticed a small, dark discoloration on my left calf. It wasn't particularly painful, but it definitely hadn't been there before. The skin around it felt unusually warm. Even then, I might have continued my pattern of denial if not for what happened next. Day 23. I was in a meeting at work when the room suddenly began to spin. A wave of nausea washed over me, and my heart started racing for no apparent reason. My colleagues' concerned faces swam before my eyes as I gripped the edge of the table. "Are you okay?" someone asked, but I couldn't answer. The connection between the pain in my legs and these new symptoms hadn't yet clicked in my mind. I excused myself, blaming it on something I ate. That evening, the pain in my legs reached a new crescendo. It was no longer just burning. It felt like electrical shocks were shooting from my hips all the way down to my toes. The muscles of my calves kept cramping involuntarily. The simple act of walking from the living room to the bathroom became an ordeal. My wife finally put her foot down. "This isn't normal," she insisted. "You need to see a doctor." Tomorrow, I agreed, but secretly I was thinking I'd just get some stronger pain medication and be back to normal in no time. I still didn't understand the gravity of what was happening inside my body. The shocking discovery. Day 24 found me in a doctor's waiting room, still convinced I was overreacting. The physician assistant who initially saw me didn't seem overly concerned either until she took my vital signs. My blood pressure was alarmingly high, 187 over 110. For reference, normal blood pressure is around 120 over 80. The PA immediately called in the doctor. What followed was a whirlwind of tests, blood work, an ultrasound of my legs, and more questions than I could keep track of. Had I been unusually thirsty lately? Was I urinating more frequently than normal? Had I noticed any changes in my vision? Had I lost or gained weight without trying? The answers were yes, 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 and yes. All symptoms I had attributed to stress, aging, or just coincidence. 3 hours later, I sat stunned as the doctor delivered the news that would change everything. "Your blood sugar is 347, she said gravely. For context, normal blood sugar levels typically range between 70 and 100 when fasting. You're experiencing diabetic neuropathy, nerve damage caused by chronically high blood sugar. And that discoloration on your leg? It's the beginning of what could become a diabetic ulcer." The room seemed to tilt sideways. Diabetes? That couldn't be right. I wasn't overweight. I didn't have a family history. Sure, my diet wasn't perfect, but I wasn't guzzling soda or candy all day. But as the doctor explained, type 2 diabetes doesn't discriminate, and it often develops silently over years before becoming severe enough to cause noticeable symptoms. By the time most people experience pain like mine, significant damage has already occurred. The ultrasound revealed another frightening complication. I had developed deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot, in my left leg. The doctor's expression turned even more serious. "This is extremely dangerous," she explained. "If that clot breaks loose and travels to your lungs, heart, or brain, It could be fatal. You need to be admitted to the hospital immediately. And just like that, my 30-day journey of ignoring leg pain culminated in a 5-day hospital stay that might have been avoided entirely if I'd acted sooner. The hard truth. The next few days were a blur of 4 medications, monitoring, and crash courses in diabetes management. I learned that my blood glucose had likely been elevated for years, slowly damaging the tiny blood vessels that supply my nerves. This damage caused the burning pain, numbness, and weakness I'd been experiencing. The blood clot had formed because high blood sugar makes your blood thicker and stickier. When combined with the reduced movement caused by painful legs, it created perfect conditions for clotting. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. On day 27 of my journey, my 3rd day in the hospital, my specialist pulled up a scan of my leg and pointed to several dark areas. These are areas where the nerves have been permanently damaged, he explained. Some sensation may return as we get your blood sugar under control, but some of this damage is irreversible. The word permanent hit me like a physical blow. I had waited too long. If I had come in when the burning pain first started, or when the numbness began, much of this damage might have been prevented. Even more alarming was what he said next. Diabetes doesn't just affect your legs. The same damage happening to these nerves is happening throughout your body, to the nerves that control your heart rate, your digestion, your vision, even your brain. He showed me statistics that made my blood run cold. People with uncontrolled diabetes are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease, at 15 times greater risk for amputations, at significantly higher risk for blindness, kidney failure, and even Alzheimer's disease, all because of what uncontrolled blood sugar does to blood vessels and nerves throughout the entire body. The leg pain you've been experiencing, he said, isn't just a symptom. It's a warning. One that, unfortunately, too many people ignore until it's too late. The turning point, the part that will shock you. Now, here comes the part that will truly shock you, the revelation that changed everything for me and might do the same for you. By day 30, exactly 1 month after that first twinge of pain, I was back home, adjusting to my new reality of blood sugar monitoring, medication, and a radically different diet. The clot was being treated with blood thinners, and my pain had subsided somewhat with proper treatment. That evening, I received a call from the hospital. The doctor's voice was urgent. "We need to discuss your latest test results," he said. "The diabetes has affected your kidneys more severely than we initially thought. Your kidney function is at 35% of normal levels." I sat in stunned silence as he continued. "If you had waited even another week before coming in, you would likely have developed kidney failure requiring dialysis. And given the size and location of that blood clot, you were at extremely high risk for a pulmonary embolism, a clot traveling to your lungs, which has a mortality rate of up to 30%. The truth hit me with devastating clarity. By ignoring my leg pain for just 30 days, I had nearly lost my life. Had I waited even a few more days, I might not be here to tell this story. What started as a simple ache in my legs had been my body's desperate attempt to warn me about a life-threatening condition. Diabetes hadn't just been causing pain. It had been silently attacking my entire vascular system, putting me at risk for stroke, heart attack, blindness, and death. The most shocking part? I'm not alone. Millions of people are walking around right now with undiagnosed diabetes, ignoring the same warning signs I did. Some will be as lucky as I was to get treatment before it's too late. Diabetes is often called the silent killer for good reason. It doesn't announce itself with dramatic symptoms until significant damage has already occurred. That harmless leg pain you're experiencing right now could be your body's last-ditch effort to alert you to the danger lurking within. The burning, the numbness, the tingling, the cramping, these aren't just inconveniences to be endured. They're urgent messages that something is seriously wrong with the intricate network of blood vessels and nerves that keep your body functioning. And here's what terrifies me most. Had I not experienced that frightening episode at work, the dizziness and racing heart that finally prompted me to seek help, I might have continued ignoring my symptoms until it was truly too late. The path forward. Today, I'm on a healing journey. With proper medication, diet changes, and careful monitoring, my blood sugar levels are gradually coming under control. Some of the pain and numbness has begun to subside, though my doctors warn that complete recovery is unlikely. The damage done during those 30 days of denial and the years of undiagnosed diabetes that preceded them can't be fully undone. I'll likely deal with some degree of neuropathy for the rest of my life. The blood clot has dissolved, but I'll need to be vigilant about my circulation going forward. But I consider myself incredibly fortunate. I got a second chance that many don't get, and I'm using that chance to share this warning with you. If you're experiencing any kind of persistent leg pain, especially if it's accompanied by burning, numbness, tingling, or weakness, please don't make the same mistake I did. Don't assume it's just age or overexertion or stress. Diabetes affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and many don't know they have it until serious complications arise. The leg pain and strange sensations I described could be your early warning system, your body's way of telling you something is seriously wrong before it becomes life-threatening. The simple blood test that diagnosed my condition could have been done months or even years earlier, potentially preventing much of the permanent damage I now live with. A test that takes minutes and could add years to your life. I ignored my leg pain for 30 days, and it nearly cost me everything: my mobility, my kidneys, and my life itself. Don't wait until you're in a hospital bed to take action. The call to action. I'm asking you, actually, I'm begging you all to listen to your body in ways I failed to listen to mine. Pay attention to what it's trying to tell you. Respect its warnings. If you've been experiencing leg pain that doesn't go away with rest, especially if it has a burning quality or comes with numbness, see a healthcare provider as soon as possible. Ask specifically about diabetes testing, even if you don't think you fit the typical profile. Remember, diabetes doesn't care about stereotypes. It can affect anyone, regardless of age, weight, or family history. And its early warning signs, like the leg pain I experienced, are often dismissed or misinterpreted until serious damage has occurred. Share this video with anyone you know who complains about persistent leg pain or discomfort. Your simple act of sharing could quite literally save their life, just as I wish someone had saved mine before permanent damage was done. Drop a comment below with wake-up call if this video has inspired you to take your leg pain more seriously. I read every comment, and knowing this message is reaching people keeps me motivated to continue sharing my story despite how difficult it is to relive these moments. My 30-day journey from dismissing pain to fighting for my life taught me the hardest lesson of all. Our bodies don't send pain signals without reason. Pain isn't just an inconvenience to be managed. It's information, vital communication that deserves our full attention. Don't wait 30 days. Don't wait 30 hours. If your legs are trying to tell you something, listen now, while there's still time to change your story's ending. Because the truly shocking part of my story isn't what happened to me. It's how close I came to a completely different, tragic ending that could have been avoided with a single doctor's visit just a few weeks earlier. Diabetes is not just a condition of high blood sugar. It's a systemic disease that attacks your entire body from the inside out. And for too many people, leg pain is the final warning before catastrophe strikes. I was lucky. The question is, will you be? This is Breaking Diabetes, committed to turning painful lessons into life-saving knowledge. Until next time, remember, your body whispers before it screams. Make sure you're listening.